5, 4, 3, 2. We are live. Hey, the world. Hey, guys.
Hey.
All right. So, listen, my name is Lubangi Munyanya. I'm with Tablulu Productions, a very small organization that is dedicated to working with artists who are from Africa and also who love Africa. So we just want to put Africa at the center of our activities. So I'm in charge of doing this. So I look for artists, I look for journalists, anyone who wants to do something interesting and uplifting about Africa. I'm your guy. So today we have brought forth a new artist to the Afro-pop world of music, and his name is DPretty. DPretty comes out of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. He was born there, grew up there a little bit. Then he came to America when he was, I believe, just 12. And, you know, a 12-year young man going through America and schooling, and he was up in Boston. And one day, you know, he was already after school, I think after schooling, after his education. He came up to me and, you know, telling me about him trying to do music. But I was very surprised to see that his music was not from Boston, you know, miles away from New Edition. And I'm like, you know, what's going on? Congo's still in him. You know, I see him struggling between America and Africa, Congo, and being international. I told him, look, when you find yourself, come back to me. He tried to come back to me and very persistent. And I say, okay, why not? Let's give him a shot. You know, let's put him out there and tell the world what's going on. So that's DPretty. And he's going to tell us all about himself and then his project from your questions. But before we give DPretty the mic, I want us to go around and introduce ourselves so people watching us will know who we are. So I'm already introduced. So I'm Lubangi Munyanya. Let's start with Mark.
Hey, Mark Fender, Mark and Maliza. We're big fans of DPretty. I just can't wait to hear what he has to share with us.
Excellent.
We're in Atlanta. And we're from the UK.
Beautiful. All right, so let's go to Bannon. If you can, yeah, you can hear now. Yeah, good.
Thank you. So I'm Banning Air with Afropop Worldwide. If any of you guys know the syndicated public radio program and website, been on the air since 1988. And I was lucky to be on one of the very first field trips of the program to Kinshasa in 1987. And yeah, so we've been very involved with Congolese music all along, and Lubangi has been on our air a number of times. He's our go-to guy for all things Congolese music. And it's very nice to meet a new artist. I know there are many interesting Congolese artists in the diaspora, and it's nice to meet another one.
All right, thank you, Bannon. And then who's next, Donna?
Hello, my name is Indona, and I am located in the Chicagoland area, and I have an educational nonprofit that focuses on STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And I'm looking forward to working with DPretty as well in the future on a concert in the Chicagoland area.
All right. Sounds good. All right, so let's start by hearing from DPretty. DPretty, you know, the mic is yours. I'm gonna start by saying something interesting here about yourself, your project.
Hey guys, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be with us tonight. I'm very excited to present to you guys this project. My new single will be coming out March 14th. That's here in Atlanta, it's in like less than 4 hours. But wherever you are in the world, once it hit, the 14th at midnight, it'll be available on all streaming platforms. I'm DPretty. I'm from the Congo, like Mr. Lubangi said. Came here when I was 12. My name is actually taken from my legal name. The D stands for Dima. And the pretty came from friends in high school. I went to high school in Lynn Classical High School in Massachusetts. And because, I was always wanted to look good, be fly and have a nice cut when I still had hair, they named me DPretty. So it made me really feel good about myself. And it made me feel like I could be whoever I wanted to be. So I also took on that mindset when I started doing music to, bring positivity and joy to the world. Pretty for me is more than the superficial. Everybody is born beautiful, but pretty you have to work on. So that means your attitude, the way you make others feel. That's what pretty stands for me. So I want to share my gift with the world, and bring joy to the world with my music. So I'm very excited for you guys to discover my new single that we worked extremely hard on, and I can't wait to have your questions.
All right. So who's going first?
I will, if
Okay.
that's
Good.
okay.
Good.
Sure.
I'm curious to know, because you said you came here when you were 12. What year was that?
That was 1997. So you could do the math and find out how old I am, huh?
Yeah, right. Well, right. So you were very young when I first went there. I've only been twice, but I'm
Sure.
curious to know. So you grew up for 12 years. I just want to know what your experience of Congolese music was, both when you were a little kid
Yes.
in there, and also when you came into diaspora and got hit with everything you get hit with.
Sure.
Just talk about your what the old time Congolese, classic Congolese music meant to you while you were growing up and going through your own musical education.
Sure. So being from the Congo, my parents also being from there, I listened to a lot of the classics, rumba icons, starting with the Grand Calais, the Francos, the Zaiko Langa Langa, Pepe Kale. You go to Kofi Olomide, Papa Wemba, all the way down to Wenge Musica. It's a group that really influenced me, because I could listen to the oldies with the folks, but when it came down to what I felt like was closer to my generation, I was very influenced by a band called Wenge Musica. At the time they were together, and so I would watch their concerts, and like exercise with their choreographies and repeat those, memorize those. And there was a huge influence all the way until I moved to the US, where I really got hit with the pop culture, anybody from Jay-Z to, Usher and on, really influenced me. So what I'm doing with my music right now is really a fusion of both, hopefully presented in a way that makes sense.
That's very interesting. Well, I've heard the single. I'm looking forward to hearing more. It's a very interesting idea. It's an interesting time now. I guess mostly because of the success of all these Nigerian and Ghanaian Afrobeat stars, that it seems like the African American music scene, the Black music scene in this country, has not really paid a lot of attention to Africa, outside of maybe a lot about Fela Kuti, and that all the years that we've been putting this music out there, it's always seemed like it's mostly people like me that show up in the audience, and even for Congolese, man, there was a time when Lubangi knows, man, when we used to have all these great Congolese acts coming into New York, SOBs all the time,
Yes.
But that's a rare thing now.
Yes.
But it seems like there's more of an embrace, It
Sure.
seems like, so I'm curious to know what your experience is with just the industry here. you know, and do you feel like this is a moment when, you know, something can happen that has been trying to happen, I think, you know, but it just hasn't quite happened with Congolese music really having that breakthrough moment in America?
Sure. I definitely think you're right. When you think about, you know, Afro beats, for example, um, honestly, with what's happening in the culture, at least in America, is becoming more and more accepted. I think there are some influences like the movie Wakanda, making it a little cooler, you know, to like things of African descent. You know, so artists from Burna Boy in Nigeria to Stonebwoy in Ghana, you go all the way to you know, Uganda, you have Eddie Kenzo, you have in Tanzania, you have people like Diamond Platinum. Even in the Congo, you have somebody like Enos B, who was recently nominated for Best International Act at the BET Awards, bring some recognition to Congolese music. So it is an opportunistic time to, you know, sort of bring those cultures together. At least for me, my Congolese culture and the American culture, and kind of bridge the gap. So I think with what is happening, even when you look at the recent movie with Coming to America, artists like Davido was, you know, performing in one of the scenes in the movie.
Davido's in there, eh? Huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that you know makes it more and more acceptable. So I think we're right on time.
Talking about Davido, Nigeria, I think Nigeria is in the house. I was just told that Namdi Moita, the radio personality of Aphrodisia, KPKF 90.7 FM is in the house. Nandi, are you there? Are you there, Namdi? If you unmute your mic. Oh, okay, we have trouble with Namdi, but anyway, we'll get back to him. So yeah, Davido was. I was actually surprised. I saw him there. He did what we call a cameo.
A cameo, yes.
Yeah, so he did a performance of a new song
Yes.
that I saw. Yeah, it was quite interesting. Quite interesting.
Sure.
So what do you think, Donna?
Well, I was going to say, like, here in the Chicagoland area, there are tons of Nigerians and Ghanaians. And I found that in recent years, there's a lot more interest by African Americans in African music, not just like those from English speaking countries. Even recently, Beyonce did like a song where she included Umu Sangare, who's from Mali.
Right.
She took a portion of her song and mixed it in.
Mhm.
So especially with like, there's a massive move in the African American community to want to return to their roots in Africa. They're pretty much choosing anywhere to go. So I think that now would be a great time for you to introduce your style of music. You know, whether you're singing in French or in English, I think both would be very much welcomed at this time.
Thank you, Donna. That's very encouraging.
All right.
Yeah,
Mark,
I got a
you-
question. Yeah, I got a
Yes.
question for DPretty. You know, we're talking about music, but I know that you have a heart for your community. And do you want to talk a little bit about just your way of giving back to your community and to your roots, please?
Right. We started an organization called Congolese Genocide Awareness, which our mission is to raise awareness of the conflicts going on in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, due to conflict minerals, minerals like coltan, which is used in electronics and even the laptop I'm using now for this call. So we also participate in humanitarian aid efforts. So we've worked with the Panzi Hospital in Bukavu, that's in the eastern part of the Congo, of Dr. Denis Mukwege, who is a Nobel Peace Prize winner and laureate. So we also did here in the States, we led other effort on activism. Like we work with a group called the Art of Revolution. So they had a project called 1 Million Bones back in 2013. So what it consisted of was students and activists around the globe were to make 1 million bones, make bones out of clay. And we collected 1 million around the globe. They were collected by UPS and shipped to Washington, DC. And they were laid on the National Mall for an entire weekend there as a tribute to the victims of genocide across the world, whether it's Burma, whether it's South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. And those efforts led to, at the time, the Congress appointing a special envoy to the Great Lakes region by the name of Russ Feingold. So we've participated in efforts like that. Obviously, it was a big accomplishment at the time, but there's still struggle going on. There are pockets within that region of the Congo where there's still a lot of chaos and a lot of killing, women being raped, children being enlisted into the army to go kill others. So we, part of why I'm also doing music is I want to use this platform to shed light on it and create awareness on this issue. And so 2 years ago, I was actually at the eastern part of the Congo where I performed at a festival called Amani Festival. It's a peace festival for this reason. So I can't wait for us to turn the corner and kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel for with this pandemic that we're going through with COVID-19, so we can get back to performing and go back out and bring joy to that population that really need help.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you for the question, Mark.
That's really excellent, Pretty. I'm glad to hear that. When you left Congo, when you were age 12, were you from that part of the Congo, or where were you from?
That's a great question, Benning. I'm from the capital city of Kinshasa. So I was born and raised there. Yes. So it's actually a 3-hour flight to the eastern part of the Congo. So I never had been there my entire, the whole time I was there up until I was 12 years old. It was only until I got to the US that I actually returned and went to that part of the Congo that I had never visited before.
That's fascinating. We did a program about the Congo a few years ago. Sure. That talked about the producer was supposed to travel to the Amani Festival and do all that, but he ended up having to do it remotely. But there was an interesting conversation between the Kinshasa musicians and the Goma Bukavu musicians who were involved with Amani, and a lot of it had to do with the content of the music, and there was a sort of a sense that the Kinshasa music, because it had grown up in this world of political oppression under Mobutu,
yes,
politics was just like off the table. We're going to sing about love and family relations, and that is it.
Yes, yes.
And there was a very almost opposite attitude in the Bukavu Goma musicians who wanted to really talk about the situation and sure. Make people aware of basically a genocide, as you say, just a series of civil conflicts that the world largely ignored.
Sure. Sure.
And so there's a really different sense of the artist's role, in the public conversation. I just love to hear anything you have to say about all that.
Yeah, Benning, that's a great observation. The challenge that I think, at least in my eyes, for artists that are from Kinshasa is number one, commercially, songs about activism don't do, at least in my mind, they don't do as well as songs about love and dancing and so forth. But also, they're especially those that are well known and have done really well and been successful are, targets. So they're afraid for their own lives with passing those type of message. And I think, artists in the East who are much closer to the issue or directly affected by it every day, you know, probably have an attitude that they have nothing to lose at that point, right? So it's that's where the contracts come. But that doesn't mean that we don't have artists in Kinshasa who have done songs, you know, about you know, the issues that are going on in the East. Fally Ipupa has done a song called "Stop à la guerre," like "End to the
Stop à la
war."
guerre.
Yes. So you know, there are artists that actually speak up there a lot about what's going on in our country. But like I said, you know, it's not as popular as, you know, just the typical rumba, love, and dance music.
But if sorry, Banning, I just want to
Go ahead,
jump
please.
in. Yeah,
Yes.
there is actually right now. There is a young artist who just put out a song, Nazotu Nagaga, I think. I don't know the title. His name is Alesh. Alesh is like a rap type of a sound. I think it was probably last year, maybe before. Like last year was, you know, was known for COVID.
Yes.
I think it was probably 2019, right before that. A song about you guys are you seeing this, or are you seeing or not seeing this?
Yeah.
I remember, you know, I'm just translating, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
So, and this is Bozo Monato, Bozo Monate. Like, are you seeing this, or are you seeing this or not? That's it. So very political.
Yes.
So Alish is this generation of quinoa, actually,
Yes.
I can say, people from Kinshasa who are really pushing the envelopes, especially with the democracy working or not working. So the new song is really, I was watching a radio called Top Congo, I think. He was a guest, and they were asking, he was questioning the president. You promised A, you promised B. So what are you saying now? I mean, this is like bluntly putting it out there. There's no more Mwakila. And this is like straight up. So
Well,
I just wanted to
very
say this.
interesting. Well, what I wanted to ask DPretty though is like you're not subject to that kind of threat that those musicians in Kinshasa might be for taking those kind of chances. You can pretty much do what you want. So your considerations are more about like, you know, what's gonna work in your career, but also what do you really feel like saying as an artist? I'd just like to hear, you know, how you personally in your own art reckon with that kind of duality. I mean, it's not that simple. Some songs can be funny and sexy and also political, you know?
Yeah. I mean, even though I reside in Atlanta right now, I still travel back to the Congo. So it's still a dicey situation that you want to be careful of. But, you know, we want to do what's right. And, you know, I always want to also be a voice for the people, even if, you know, most of the music I'll do is commercial. And I don't want to forget that part of it. So, for example, when we started our nonprofit organization, I co-wrote a song for our nonprofit called "Letter to Pauline." It was a letter written by Patrice Lumumba, who was an activist in the 60s who fought for our independence and became prime minister and then was killed. So that was a letter that he wrote while he was incarcerated to his wife. So I took notes from that letter and we turned it into a song. It was actually performed by an artist called Mikey Jones, Mikey Music. And we actually have a video for that on YouTube. You can check it out. It's called "Letter to Pauline." So that type of that's a song that we've done back, I believe, 2011, 2012. And you know, that was clearly a message that we wanted to send to our people, especially our leaders, you know, to not forget what, you know, they've been appointed for. I've also done motivational song like "Stay On," which you can find on, you know, on all streaming platform, and there's a video for it on YouTube. So it's a song where I was actually encouraging fathers and even mothers with, you know, the daily routine and how tiring that can get, but it was just a motivational song to make everybody remember that we kind of all go through this. You know, it's a daily routine, but it's worth it at the end of the day. And we're doing this for our family, so let's keep pushing. So yes, we try to mix a message here and there. As you know, I'm an artist. I get inspired a lot, but I also try to keep a you know, kind of that in the back of my mind, that I you know, I still got to advocate for my people.
Great.
Thank you, DPretty.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So with my nonprofit, I often work with marginalized families,
Okay.
focusing specifically on African American and Hispanic children in both the suburban Chicago and some of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago, such
Okay.
as Inglewood and the West Side.
Sure.
Now, what we're currently working on is we were supposed to do it last year, take a group of young adults and teenagers to the Congo,
Yes.
because I've been educating them on the many adversities that children go through worldwide, and to try and take them out of their current environments here in Chicago.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
when you're when you've gone into Eastern Congo and you've done the concerts and you've engaged people with your nonprofit, are you also, you know, educating those young people about other communities? Are you working with trying to possibly get them out of those areas if it's a possibility? What exactly are you doing outside of the music?
Yeah, that's a great point, Donna. I'm gonna be honest with you. The first time after moving to the U.S. that I've gone back to the Congo, I believe was about 2013, or maybe a little before that. But it is very difficult. Obviously, you get there and you see all these different issues, and you see little kids around. You can't help but wanting to take all of them, right? To take all of them back with you here, but obviously that's not possible. So we've worked with orphanages there in the Congo, where we trying to help with, you know, going back to school programs and that time of year, and even other needs that they may have, whether it's infrastructure of the orphanages or any other needs. However, we ourselves have limited funding, right? We're doing this mostly out of our own funds. We fundraise a bit, but we don't have as much help as we would want to. We're appreciative for the donors that we do have. So obviously this is one of the reasons why we want to get back to performing and get back on stage, because that would allow us to do even more and have more means to be able to do this. I don't mind doing or going and perform and doing a free concert, but it feels better when you can actually, you know, make some type of significant change when I go to the Congo. I don't want to go there and just vacation anymore, because there's too much suffering around me. So we're trying our best with the means that we have to do more, but it's very difficult. So what the funding that we have and what we put in ourselves, we're trying our best to make sure that we meet as much need as possible. So recently in 2019 with COVID, for example, I started by, you know, doing a message about preventive measures in Lingala for our community. But we also donated about 100 masks to a cultural center called Centre André Blouin in Kinshasa, just so they can do some community outreach there. And then we fundraised and got about 3,000 masks donated to 6 major hospitals in the 6 biggest counties in Kinshasa. So those are the ways that we were able to at least help recently. We would have wanted to do more, but obviously we're limited. But we definitely want to continue to see how we can work, and we'll be interested to see, you know, if maybe in the future we can join forces and do things to help.
We'll come back to you, Donna. Let's go to LA now. So Illinois to LA. We need to hear Namdi, DJ Namdi. Are you there? You got to unmute your mic. Namdi. Yeah, Namdi's on. He's live on the radio right now.
90.7 FM KPFK, you're live covering all of Southern California and Northern Mexico. DPretty, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, Namdi. How are you?
Oh, give thanks. We give thanks. How close are you to Kinshasa's bed of creativity known as Matonge?
I'm actually very close. As I've said in the beginning of this call, I was actually born in Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and my parents are all also from there. So there are a lot of influences of music that I've listened to that are originated there. And you could also feel, that my style and my music stems from the vibration that I got from Matonge. So I'm very close to it.
DPretty, only days ago, we learned Joski Kiambukuta has passed on
Yes.
to the world of the ancestors. So you signaling the end of Congolese rumba on the international level with Boom KeKe, your new single?
No, I'm not signaling the end of Congolese rumba. Definitely want to say that we lost a great icon by Joski Kikambukuta, who was part of OK Jazz. It's very sad that we keep losing some of our best artists. So I definitely want to extend my condolences to his family and his fans and the rest of the country. But he's from a different generation. They've done great music, but I'm also from a different generation. So Congolese rumba is still very much alive. There are still great artists that carry on that torch of Congolese rumba. For me right now, I live in the US, so I have my roots from the Congo, and I'm very influenced by pop music here and hip hop, R&B, and so forth. So my music is a fusion of both. But don't be surprised, if in the future, in the near future, I release a rumba song.
Mm-hmm. Who did you work with on instrumentals, and why the choice of an American woman vocalist on the song?
Oh, sure. That's a great question. So on the instrumental, we worked on with Heaven Boy is a producer that originated those instrumental, and we also work with OLAM Studios where we kind of perfected the music as we could. The choice of the American singer is because she has a great voice. I was actually going to do this song top to bottom by myself. But she happened to be in the studio one day, and when I was working on it and I heard her sing the song, the idea came there. We got together to, why don't we collaborate on this where, there's a male perspective on the song, there's also a female perspective, and kind of join both. And there was also another way to bridge both cultures, the African and the Congolese culture and the American one.
90.7 FM KPFK, DPretty with us on air. DPretty, before you go, the new single is called Boom KeKe. In Lingala, what is the meaning of Boom KeKe?
Well, it's actually, we didn't even think about it in Lingala. We just honestly try to come up with a universal way to represent love, and it's basically what it is. It's heartbeats, right? It's the chemistry of two hearts, but we wanted to find a universal way to symbolize what love is, how you feel when you fall in love, and that period of time. So for us, a universal way to express that feeling was to say Boom KeKe is just your heartbeat.
Thank you, DPretty. We're going to drop Boom KeKe on the air for the first time. Thank you for joining us. We'll go back to the press conference.
All right, so that was Namdi. He's live on the radio, so he's going to play Boom KeKe for those who are listening to the radio right now. They will hear Boom KeKe for the first time. So it's always good to be connected to Namdi's radio. I want to welcome a radio personality straight from New York, Mr. Grooveman himself, Mr. Obebi Olali, who is with us. Hi, Obebi, the mic is yours. Unmute your mic. Can you unmute your mic? We can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Anyway, I thank you for having me.
Reintroduce yourself so people can hear you.
I was about to do that because I joined the conference, okay, when I believe Bannon was talking, and then thereafter I think Ndona came on, and then followed by Mark.
Right.
And anyway, my name is Obebi Olali, and I am the creator and long-time host and producer of the music program known as African Music Morning, otherwise known as the Jumbo Jet AMM Africa, presented here in the New York City area by Suno Africa Radio on WP80 930 AM here in New York. We've been coming on the air for guys 15 years exactly this month, and we are on from odd times though, from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. okay, Eastern Standard Time. But for us it's a little bit convenient in the sense that on the continent, okay, it's beginning to be morning time. So good and bad, but we're there for now. Also, as Bannon will probably tell, and Lubangi, okay, that over the years, for the last, let's say 30 years or so, one has also been involved with the African, based oriented nightclubs in the city here, like, Kilimanjaro, where I believe, that Bannon and Sean, okay, had started their program, Afropop, worldwide, okay, and then we moved on to Club Harambe. All those are gone anyway, but just a small recollection of what happened to help to make sure that the New York area public, okay, were sensitized to how our music is, the performances, the artists that came through, and all that. So anyway, let's leave that alone for now. I don't really have questions at this time, okay, but more like an observation or a comment, okay. Sure. And my comment revolves, I mentioned it to Lubangi already, but it revolves around the state of how producers package music these days, right?
Sure.
And I'm talking about length, length of a song. Yeah. During this evening, okay, we've had how our great artists, okay, like the Fellas, the Francos, Tabulero Cherus, and a whole lot of others, right? Yeah. Did music, that an average of about 7 minutes to even up to about 21 minutes for someone like Fela, right? I am not advocating that we go do that at all, though, right? But the use of music, okay, is reserved for certain people. There are DJs, who play in nightclubs. There are people like me who do radio programming. There are others who do other things. Okay, so in my own particular case, right, I feel that the song should be long enough, okay, for me to have a choice as to what I use. I don't know whether or not it started with the aspect of when folks were trying to target the use, okay, for what do you call it again, when on your phone, okay, ringtones, right? And they make songs, all right, at a minute or so, long, and so. But for me, I feel that a song should be at least, okay, 3.5 to 4 minutes, a little longer, so that let the person make a choice, okay, as to what length they want to use. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, okay, but can you comment on that to see whether or not those of us who have a little bit of a longer attention span, right, can enjoy something too, as opposed to when, let's say, by the time they mention the name of the mixer, okay, they in the beginning of the song, and maybe somebody's child, okay, comes in and says, hey, this is daddy. By that time, okay, the song is almost gone. Can you comment on that?
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Olali, for the observation. Recently I was listening to Fela's song Zombie. And there was a song that was about 12 minutes long, if I'm not mistaken. And the first 5 minutes was, just instrumental. That was a great intro, but I basically listened to the song for 5 minutes before, he started singing. So, I think the times are definitely different, because, you being on the radio, you probably know this best. There's a lot of influence in the industry as far as, where would a 12-minute song play now. I'm glad you at least have the understanding that you could take parts of it, for 3 minutes or 3 minutes and a half and play it. But I'm not sure that it would necessarily be that type of vision for other VJs or other radios or other stations. So it's Congolese rumba, for example, still have songs that are 12 minutes long, and so forth. However, a lot of times, those songs don't end up getting playtime in other parts of the world just because of the length. So there's definitely a struggle, for me as an artist. At least I could tell that, trust me, I could make a song that's super long. I can have verses and verses and keep going, but there's that challenge of balancing the commercial aspect of it and the artistic aspect of it.
All
Okay, can I just have a quick follow up? Okay, I just want to correct that I am not saying okay that a song should be 7 whatever minutes long, right? I'm saying okay that for what you're doing, right? What you just releasing now, okay, that if it's roughly about 4 minutes long, okay, at least that will be enough for somebody who wants to take 45 seconds, right? Like DJs these days, okay, we mix so very quickly, and for someone like me who comes from the old school, to use, so average of 3.5, 4 minutes, okay. That's what I'm advocating for,
Thank you for that observation. We'll definitely keep that in mind.
Thank you, Obebi Olali.
Yes, sir.
That's Groove Man right there. So I'm glad you said it, because sometimes you struggle with artists when you're trying to tell them, do this to say. They're so creative. They want you to know that this is coming from me. This is I want it. So sometimes you have to let them do it, and we also want them to hear from guys like you. So I'm glad you were here tonight to say this. I have a question coming from Patricia Loqua Servant. This is coming from social media.
Yes.
So I want to read it to you.
Sure.
And you can answer it. And she's listening right now. Thank you for asking your question, Patricia. So Patricia says this: you spoke of how music can be used to tell our different stories. What do you want to be known for, and what message do you want young Congolese to learn from you and your music?
Great. Thanks. Thanks, Patricia, for the question. I definitely, when doing my art, what I try to have a message around is definitely that we have to put work into and work hard towards whatever our ambitions or our hobbies are. Whether the young people need to go to school, get good jobs, and also focus on whatever their dreams are outside of their professional careers. So I want to give a message out there that you should follow your dreams, no matter what others say, and pursue them at the best of your ability and really put the effort there. So like I've said in the past, we've done motivational songs. We've worked on this. We've had a song about the Congo before, Letter to Pauline. I've done Stay On. I've done also other entertaining songs. But, I also want to be known for using my platform of music to impact social change, right? So it's more than just, as much as I love music and the art, I also want to use that platform to work in fields like education, healthcare, even the art in Africa. There are a lot of talented kids there that just don't have an opportunity to showcase their talents versus other places in the world. So those are ambitions of mine. Then that's why, once again, we can't wait to get back out there. Hopefully things turn around with the pandemic so that we can get back out there, tour, do free concerts, and trying to help out even more.
Great. We're gonna go to Mark, but after Vanessa. I want to hear from Vanessa Tambona. Introduce yourself, please. Unmute your mic. Thank you. There you go. Speak up, please, and introduce yourself, Vanessa.
Hello, my name is Vanessa. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening, Vanessa.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome, awesome. Looking real good.
Thank you. You
Yes,
got a
your
question
question,
for us, Vanessa?
No, I didn't. I just want to say, great job, Dima. You're doing a wonderful, wonderful job. And I can't wait to just hear your song alive.
Thank you so much,
very
Vanessa. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Vanessa. I see you driving. Thank you. This is cool. Yes. All right, Mark, your mic is on.
Hey, yeah, I've heard a lot of serious questions, deep questions, and so I'm a pretty superficial kind of guy. And anytime I see DPretty, he's always well tailored. So I kind of would like to hear about his influences, his style, how that speaks to his brand.
Great question, Mark. Coming from you, that means a lot. So I definitely have a lot of influences because in the Congolese culture, and especially with us, is music is really in our DNA, dancing, singing, but also there's actually the styling part of the fashion part of it goes along with it, right? So what I try to do with me as an artist is to obviously I want to be different, I want to stand out, but I also want to just be presentable, right? It's for me, it's more about being clean than about the brands. It's not really about being flashy, but it's just more about being presentable, and as long as I feel that I'm presentable and and I feel good about myself, and obviously that's what I want my style to be about.
Well, yeah, you are presentable, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
All right. So Donna, we're coming back to you. I know you after you, and then we'll go back to Banning, then Olali. So Donna, please.
Yeah, so I was wondering, when you first moved to the US from Kinshasa at the age of 12.
Yes.
How could it, did you speak English before you came here? Did you, what was it like, arriving in the US? I think, what was it, Massachusetts?
Yes.
Were you in Boston? Were you in a city where there were a lot of people of color? And I'm just wondering, what was it like arriving here, from a French-speaking country, being, from Africa, and having to come here as a child?
Right. Great question, Donna. Not a lot of people ask that, so I'm glad you did. Like you said, I'm from a French-speaking country, so I didn't speak English at all. So coming here as a kid, you can imagine how tough that was, not being able to speak a language, but for some reason, kind of, I was able to understand more than I could speak, at least initially, because I can put things together. So I actually started going to school, attending the courses everybody else took, in addition to a course called English as a Second Language, right? ESL. So that was a separate course at a time. I was doing more work than most kids because I had to learn the material, but also the language. And as you can imagine, you know, I had to deal with all types of jokes, you know, whether, you know, we lived on trees, we came here on the boat and stuff like that. Things that can hurt, but kids are kids, right? So you know, it was a challenge, I have to admit, and the weather, right? We moved to one of the coldest, from Africa to one of the coldest cities in the world, right? So it was a challenge, but you know, the great thing is I had my family with me and we were going through it together. So it was kind of a time that we all had to adapt. It took time, but you know, we found a way.
And then just one other question in
Yes.
relation to that. Did you always want to be a musician from the time you were very young, or is it just a passion that you took up once you got to the States?
I think I probably live most of my life like a musician. I probably practice and sang and danced, you know, and rehearsed more at home before even thinking about doing it professionally. But it really became like a real passion, and really started pursuing it about 10 years ago. About 10 years ago today, but it was after I moved to the States.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Now let's hear from Banning, Afro Pop Worldwide. Is
All
Banning
right.
there? Oh yeah, good.
Can you see this image behind me?
Oh my God.
Whoa! Where did you pull that up from?
Well, it's from 1987. They were just wannabes at that point, you know.
Wow, that's a great.
It's a vis-a-vis. That's vis-a-vis right there.
That's the vis-a-vis club. Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
That's the first time I ever went there, you know.
Wow.
Well, the reason I could just pull that up is because one of the things that we've been doing during COVID is working on our archive. And so I have up on the third floor of this house, we have like a archive digitizing zone.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the last few months, I have digitized 1980s interviews with Franco, Tabule,
Wow.
Nokolongo, Pepe Calais, Papa Wemba. You know, it's very interesting. I wish we'd known more about the music when we were asking those questions then.
Wow. Wow.
But yes, also we had about 3,000 photographs, slides digitized. We sent those out, and this is one of them.
That's amazing. It's from
Yeah.
one of my favorite groups. That's a real gift right there.
And
Just for your information, vis-a-vis does not exist anymore.
oh, I know. It's a whole, where I followed the history. I met Werason in 2001 when I went there on it was funny because I was there on a project to make one of the last recordings made of Wendo.
Yeah.
Wow.
With Christian Mousset of Marabi Records, and he was really into recording this old school rumba with Wendo singing. You know, it was in his final years. I mean, he was amazing. But along the way, I managed to arrange an interview with Werason and went to his house. And I mean, and it's very interesting the way all those groups have developed. But Zyko Longa Longa family and Wenge Musica family, these are like epics, you know?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's amazing. Werason is definitely a great performer, somebody I watch a lot and learn from a lot, you know, when it comes to performing on stage. So, you know, I think you're a Congolese man yourself.
I even play some Congolese guitar, you know.
He's got one.
Wow, great.
In fact, I used to play guitar in the early 90s. After this, I lived in Boston.
Sure.
Where, you know, probably around the same time you were there, or a little earlier actually. But
yes.
There were a number of Congolese musicians who sort of landed there for one reason or another.
Okay.
And we had a couple of bands, and boy, those guys were tough teachers, man. They really, the thing that I always say this about Congolese music is how, you know, the players in those bands, first of all, you know, the amount that they played, the number of hours they put in just
Right.
working on the music,
Right.
Yes,
teaching,
yes.
practicing, performing,
Yep.
so intense. And, you know, the music was so free and joyful, and you just feel like, you know, letting go of everything. But those
Yeah.
musicians, man, they are tough on each other, you know,
Yeah,
really
yes.
demanding perfection. And it was very interesting for me and my musical friends who were working with, we had a band that was at one time like 3 Congolese guys and 3 American guys.
Sure.
And all the Congolese guys were killer musicians. One in particular, this guy,
Yeah.
Feliko Mbujima,
Felico,
he used to play
yes.
bass with
Yes.
Victor Eliasson. He came with Diblo Dybala.
Diblo
and
Dybala,
stayed in
yeah.
Boston.
Mm.
Okay.
We worked with him, man. That guy taught me a lot.
Wow.
But you know, he hated performing and being on stage and the bad sounds in nightclubs. He was a real perfectionist, you know.
Yes, yes.
But boy, was he a tough teacher, man. And I, you know, I really valued what I learned from him.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
All right. So, Obebi Olali, Mr. Groove Man.
Yes, sir.
Come back again, yeah.
Okay. DPretty.
Yes, sir.
If you know, I recall, look, I believe, you know, that you mentioned that he came here to the U.S. in 1997, though, right?
Right.
Or somewhere about that.
Yeah. 97
Okay.
was right.
All right. You know, I guess for me, okay, you can practically almost double that, you know, so we are sort of, you know, kind of far removed, okay, from the continent.
Yes.
Somebody will say so.
Yes.
But our eyes and ears are always there because that's
Sure.
our homeland.
Sure.
And we want things, you know, to be good, you know, for the rest of the folks that are there.
Sure.
Okay. As a musician, all right, as a creator and all that,
Yes.
you know, and as a youth of the African continent,
Yes.
you know, if you had, you know, like an opportunity, all right, to send a message, okay, to the folks over there, not just in Congo though, okay, but say the leaders of the African Union,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What would be, you know, like, you know, the top 3 or 4 concerns that you have to express to them to say, hey, you guys better handle these things, okay? Because, you know, those in my age group and younger are going to inherit that place, you know, sometime soon. And we don't want you guys to leave us a bucket of, you know, nonsense and all that. What would that be?
Well, you know, I think for me personally, the message will be, you know, to get back to the basics, right? We elect these officials and leaders to be in those positions so that they can serve the people, right? It should go back to serving the people, which means for us, the basics of healthcare, education, you know, and eradicating issues like famine. Those are priorities that should be taken care of, right? You know, if my country was even better than it is now, you know, I probably wouldn't be here, right? We will still be there. I will grow up there and be doing music there. But even in the music industry is struggling there. You know, there's no real infrastructure there. There's no purchase power, you know, so a lot of our artists are having to, you know, go into the Western world, to Europe and America to sell, you know, to even perform. So those are, to me, what the basics should be, is just when we elect these officials, they should just go back to the basics and the fundamentals, which is to serve the people first and not, you know, themselves or any other reasons, right? So in the East, we're still having, you know, children that are being enlisted in armies to go kill others. Can you think about the traumatic effects that are going to be passed on from generation to generation? You know, women being raped, you know, and all sorts of atrocities there. And folks like Dr. Denis Mukwege, you know, who works to help these women, you know, need as much support as possible, you know. So these are issues that we have that need to be addressed before we start thinking, you know, long term with bigger goals. We just have to start back to the basics and go back to the basics and start with the fundamental needs.
All right. I just want to quickly add, though, you know, that in spite of all these things that I'm saying, that we're here, I will do as much as possible, you know, to help support your projects. Okay.
Thank
And
you so much, sir.
to
Thank
wish
you.
you success. All right.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's coming from Olali, the groove man. That's a veteran person in music. He's been in music business for a long time, DPretty. I'm telling you,
Wow.
promoting
Wow.
music and also promoting the culture
Yes.
in New York via big clubs in New York and also radio. So
It's an honor to have all of them here.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
I just want to remind folks that Boom KeKe, the single it will be dropped at midnight, March 14th. So in few hours, please pick up the song. You can download the song. It's all on all the platforms, from iTunes to Spotify. So please do that. And of course, it's a single. The album will be coming up next. So DPretty will be the one telling us about that.
Yeah.
But before we close the program, because the time is running, we're running after time, I should say. We have some people that haven't spoken yet, but they're there. I can see them. I see Olivier. Olivier is there, and I can see Mimi K is there. I don't know if it's Mimi K. I don't know. You should tell us what the K stands for. And who else is here? I'm going to tell you. One more person. The last name is familiar, but I don't know. I saw is a Christopher, I think. I saw Christopher Pink. But anyway, if you have a question, you comment, the mic, unmute your mic and then speak. If you don't want to speak, that's okay. We'll appreciate that. We'll appreciate your support. All right, let's start with Mimi K. Go ahead. Unmute your mic. Mimi K, the mic is yours. Unmute yours and then go ahead. Okay. Going once, going twice.
Hello, everyone.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, Mimi.
Hi, shout out to DPretty. I'm just waiting for the album, very interesting. And I will see if it's going to beat Stay On. That is my favorite.
Thank you, Mimi. The single Boom KeKe is definitely a song we work very hard on. Stay On is still one of my babies. But I can't wait for you to hear Boom KeKe and see what you think.
All right. So moving to Olivier. So unmute your mic, Olivier, and the mic is yours. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, my name is Olivier. I'm actually DPretty's brother. So I'm just listening and so and showing my support. So I really don't have any question for him at the moment.
Come on, bro. You ain't got no questions?
Not right now.
Thank you.
Not
Thank
right
you
now.
for the support. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
This is good, man. You've got your support right there. And then, of course, we have Mr. Christopher Pink. If you got some word of support, we are here to listen. Unmute your mic, and here we are. Yeah, the mic is yours, Mr. Christopher Pink. Uh-oh. Oh, I think we have difficulties over there. We'll when you unmute your mic, no problem. We'll get back to you.
Sure.
All right. So what do you, DPretty wants people to know about Boom KeKe that you haven't told him yet?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Lubangi, for this question. So Boom KeKe, was conceived and thought about during the pandemic in 2020. 2020 was definitely a challenging year with the pandemic, but also for some folks, a time for them to reconnect. Folks had more time to spend with each other because since we were confined at home. So, and part of the inspiration came from that, but also others suffered from things like depression. A lot of families were strained due to the economic issues and even, just social issues. So there was a song that was thought about and conceived and written with also the idea that, when we come out of that, what this should be about. We should bring back love, which can hopefully help remedy and help, with issues like depression and things of that nature. Also bring back chic. We should dress up again. Hopefully we could see, the end of this pandemic soon, so we can dress up again, go back out, have a good time, and get back to our regularly scheduled programs, because we're kind of tired of being at home. So with that in mind, that we wanted to write a song about love in a way that was as universal as possible, but also, use that that song, to bring about something different than the current trend. The trend is sometimes to disrespect women and to bash each other. So this way, we wanted to do a song where, we're respecting women and we're, doing something positive, and, we're looking as chic and as elegant as possible to talk about and to sing about love.
So I'm gonna go to Mark because he's gonna ask you a question about it. He's the one who asked you a question about
Single.
Actually, no,
Yeah,
chic.
chic.
He did ask you a question about chic. So I'm gonna go back to that. I'm privy to certain information, so that's why I'm like ahead of something here.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about the music video? The music video is definitely the thing because what it does is it presents you in a different light.
Right.
Everything that you're talking about here is chic,
Yes.
which in Congo is a culture of la sap.
Yes.
Is there.
Yeah.
So all this, the video puts you in a different light, and I love it, and especially with your your partner singing together,
Yes.
J Pink.
Yes.
The chemistry and everything.
Yes.
So I saw that.
Yes.
But people haven't seen it yet. They was probably seeing it in a week. So
Yes.
why don't you say a few words about that, and then we'll go to Mark.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
We'll probably try to start thinking about closing because the time is running. Go ahead.
Sure, definitely. The audio comes out on March 14th at midnight, but the video comes out on YouTube March 21st. It will be on YouTube and on Vivo. Yes, the video was also shot last year during the pandemic. Initially, we wanted to shoot the video in New York, kind of use Times Square and the great scenery of Manhattan and make it something very luxurious and nice to look at. But the pandemic didn't, allow us to travel as much as we would have wanted to, and there were more risks that we didn't want to take. So we shot it here in Atlanta. However, it also came with other risks. I had to do my own stunts and standing in buildings, on edges of parking decks, just so I can represent, kind of symbolize the feeling of, from the man's perspective, of being on top of the world, right? So, and we did a good job to, kind of capture that and the chemistry between folks who are falling in love for the first time or falling in love again, right? So, and the artist J Ping also did an amazing job with her voice, but also capturing, the essence of, the feeling that a woman will be displaying at that time. So I can't wait for folks to see this video, which comes out once again March 21st on YouTube and on Vivo.
And I'm like to let you know that the video would be coming out on Vivo 21st of this March. So it's about a week from now?
A week from tomorrow, yes.
Okay. At the same time, it would be premiere in Africa, the
Okay.
video.
Wow.
About 46 African countries will see it. Southern Europe on the same day. So I want
Very
you to know
exciting.
that, man.
Very
So
exciting.
you-
That's great news. That's amazing news.
I mean, we want you to know that, and people will feel you. Hopefully, they'll be inspired by the Sheikh. All right.
Yes.
All
Hopefully
right.
they will be.
So let's go to Mark. If Mark has a question, Mark,
Yeah,
unmute
I
your
did have
mic.
a question, but it's more of just an observation. DPretty, we're just excited
Thank
about
you.
we're going to be waiting up. Normally I go to bed really early, but I'm going to be waiting up for the music, and then I'm excited about
Thank
the
you.
video next week too.
Thank you.
So the whole family's ready and waiting.
Mark,
Thank you, Mark.
let me just say that he did a good job to keep the song away from everybody. No, nobody knows how the song is, except for Obebi Olali. Obebi Olali already listened to the song. He gave away something that.
Yeah, present company accepted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, Banning also has listened to it.
Yes.
All right. So can you a little bit talk about your live performances, man? We haven't said a word about that.
Sure.
You performed in New York at Congo Kitoko,
Yes.
which was a Friends of the Congo's event.
Yes.
Friends of the Congo, they do event each year
Yes.
up in Harlem. It's
Yes.
called Congo in Harlem.
Yes.
Congo Week.
Yes.
So you were invited and you did one, but it was downtown.
Yes.
It was called Congo Kitoko.
Yes.
I was there. I enjoyed your performance. I was actually the host of the program.
Great.
So can you talk more about your live performance and especially your performance in Congo and the one you did with Maître Gims?
Sure. So
Yeah.
pre-COVID, 2 years ago, we at one of the bigger venues we performed at was at the Imani Festival in Goma, which is in the east of the Congo. It's a peace festival that houses about 30,000 attendees for a weekend. So that was definitely a great experience, and I also got to see and network with other very well-known and established artists during that festival. And then, like you said, we performed at Congo Kitoko for Congo Week in Manhattan in New York City later on that year. And it was an amazing experience because it was actually my first time performing in New York. And then we also got to share the stage with Maître Gims, who is one of the top artists. He's also from the Congo, but he resides in France. He's one of the top artists there. It was an amazing experience to perform with him or share the stage with him here in Atlanta, Georgia. And, for 2020, we had a lot of great plans. One of them was to return to the Congo for a festival there in the Tanganyika region, where we were actually going to probably perform with Bunny Wailers of the Wailers Band, who unfortunately recently passed. So things like that were very derailed because of COVID. We had a packed schedule of performances during for 2020. However, with the pandemic, everyone, not just DPretty, had to readjust. So what we're doing now is we're very excited about the odds and what it's looking like with the numbers right now for the pandemic. Hopefully, we're starting to turn around the corner so that we can. I'm not sure if things will go back as they used to be right away, but at least start to get back to performing with some, preventative measures that allow us to get back on stage. So looking forward to that. I definitely want to get back there, and I definitely want to share Boom KeKe with the rest of the world. If it wasn't for the pandemic, we'll be doing this press conference live, in person, probably in New York or somewhere, right? So we're trying to be as safe as possible. be patient until the right time so we can get back on stage.
Right. So I mean, I was telling you about the Pan-African television will show you. It's going to be also on Southern Night Europe. They're going to see this and wait. I want to confirm this. Yes, it's going to be also shown in the Middle East.
Nice.
So, my friend, you're going to be seen in 46 African countries, Southern Europe, and the Middle East.
Thank you. That's
a good thing
amazing
right
news.
there.
We're excited, and I can't wait, to get people's feedback.
And then you will probably be on Mr. Obebi Olali's radio program, which is listened in Africa, especially in Nigeria, where our brothers, they don't play over there. Nigerians do not play. You know that.
I know. No, they don't play.
They don't play. You know that.
I know that.
All right. And of course, Afropop is there for you. So whenever you're ready. So I'm sure Banning prove it to you how far back it goes with Congo.
I know. I mean, it's impressive, right? Like to pull out that picture.
You think it's impressive? You think it's? You want me to tell you something?
It was impressive to me.
You want me to tell you something?
Yes.
All right. Did you know that Banning actually performed with Mukanya? Do you know who Mukanya is? Oh my goodness.
No, I don't know who Mukanya is.
Mukanya is like a Franco of Zimbabwe.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Franco of Zimbabwe, Thomas Mafuno. That's his name. Yes, they call him the Lion. Mukanya. So Banning, as you see there, and these are folks that are really substantive, man.
Yes.
They're not light. Yes. All right. They're
Thank
not
you.
light.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm very appreciative of them taking the time to be here. It means a lot.
Absolutely. So anybody has a question? Donna, anybody? We want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a very selfish, a statement or something, okay?
Please do.
For those who are not yet, friends of mine, okay, on Facebook, all right, I like, to share my page, okay,
Please
so
do.
that, they too can go, so that they can use that as a means of going to go here or listen to the program, okay? You can request for friendship, okay, at Obebi, that is OBEBI, then the THE, GROOVEEKING, right? Let me repeat that again. Obebi the Groovy King. All right, OBEBI, then THE GROOVEEKING. And we'll respond from there. I usually post links and all that, okay, to the program for those online.
Yes.
And if you're in the New York metro area, of course, you can hear it on the air by going to the AM dial at 9:30 a.m. From 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning. That's it.
Thank you very much, baby. Thank you. Thanks. So, Donna, do you have a beautiful words?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I had the opportunity to see a few of your videos and hear your music, and you have a beautiful voice. And
Thank you. Thank you.
Seeing you perform live, hopefully with a full live band. And I just want to wish you tons of luck and blessings.
Thank you so much, Donna. Appreciate it.
All right, Banning. While you were away, I was talking about you, how he was impressed when he saw the image of Wenge Musica, you being in Kinshasa way back in the 80s. I said, are you impressed? I said, that man performed with Mukanya. That man performed with Thomas Mafuno. I said, are you kidding me? He is a Franco of Zimbabwe. So anyway, if you have any
that's interesting,
kind words to say. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that even though I went off camera, the way in this Zoom world, I have sound that goes all through the first floor of this house, so I can hear everything very well.
Okay, you heard me.
For a little bit, I did go upstairs, actually, though I probably missed when you were talking about me, but I have been hearing even when you don't see me.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
And it's been interesting to be here. It's really nice to see everybody and to hear from everybody. And DPretty, I'm looking forward to hearing what you do, man. Stay in touch.
Thank you, Banning. Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right. So anybody else, Mark? Kind words before we say goodnight?
Yeah, just looking forward to this more of your music. I'm excited. It's different, new for me, for my family, obviously, you know, and I'm looking forward to just sharing it. I know you'll continue to do well.
Thank you so much, Mark. It means a lot.
All right. So I just want to thank the tech support, Mr. KeKe. You know, that's my right-hand man right there. Without him, we are lost in every possible way. Mr. KeKe Kambale Musavuli. I'm saying KeKe because of Kambale. You know, it's like one, you know, two words in one. But it's Kambale Musavuli.
Sure.
Thank you very much for helping us with the tech support.
Sure.
And I want to thank
you, Kambale. Thank you.
I want to thank all the Facebook audience, fans, and friends of ours who are there for us. And the last word, it would be you. And I want you to thank people that you have in mind. Go ahead, and then you'll have the last word.
Thank you. I want to first thank the panel, all the journalists and radio personalities that are here. Appreciate it. Please check out the song Boom KeKe at midnight, March 14th, which is in a couple hours here in the States, but in Africa, it should be available now. And I want to just take a few moments to thank a lot of the folks who are behind DPretty, supporting, and especially for this Boom KeKe project. I would definitely want to start with Bilulu Productions, Jay Pink, the artist that sang with me in the song, MK7 Pro, the director of the video, Martin Waitu, Heaven Boy, the producer, Frankie G, my guy in London, Serge and Kelly Tambona, Archie Tambona, Vanessa, Sir Shabani, Marissa Moore, Pink Social Co. Definitely want to give a shout out to Pink Social Co. A kid named Wes, who definitely is a great designer and stylist out there. My guy, Anthony Kasongo, Christian Zinga, Eric and Nancy Matondo, Dwayne and Lisa Parkin, Terry and Adrian Pink, Julia Jackson. And if I didn't name you, please don't get mad. My family, I love y'all. Thanks for the support. And my friends, y'all know who you are.
Before we go, I just want to, you know, someone that you should have had a name to thank, this young girl out in France who volunteered to do marketing video for you.
Wow.
Yes, her name is Josiane.
Josiane, big shout out to Josiane. I can't wait to see that video. I'm sure it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be fire. We're gonna post it right away.
I'm telling you, Josiane Katende. That's her name. Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you very much, the panel. Thank you very much. Thank you, DPretty, for your time.
Thank you, guys.
You're out there, man. All right.
Thank you.
All the best.
All right.
Thanks a lot. Have a good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah.